the first thing we need to understand here is what is visual marketing, okay? A definition would be that visual marketing is the practice of using visual media, such as images, design, video content, to support any marketing campaign. So what we're trying to do using visual marketing, is using those visual elements, okay, and that can be video, photography, and design, to really follow the marketing process through. So what I've designed here is a bit of a take on the sales funnel. We've all seen the sales funnel and how we pour stuff in at the top and then we work on it and it drops orders out the bottom. Well, what we're doing here is very similar, but by using visual marketing in several ways. So we start at the top by making people aware. So we need to make people aware of who we are, where we are, what we're doing. Yeah. If people are not aware of us, then we're never going to get anywhere with them throughout the whole of the marketing process. So that's the first thing that we need to do. And there are several ways which I'll go into detail about talking now to how we can do this. But once we've got them, once they're aware of us, okay, we need to then work on them. It's very rare, especially in this days and times, where you're going to get people who are going to buy straight away. Yeah, you might get a few, but it's a smaller market. It's a much smaller market. But if you make people aware of what you do and how you do it, they're not necessarily always going to have a need right now, but they may have a need down the future. So by doing that, by making them aware of who you are and then dropping them into if you like, well, we've got it here, a little machine that just engages with them, and you keep them off it, so you keep them abreast of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Eventually, when they're ready, they'll start to drop orders out. So it's a bit of a slower process, but it's a very effective process because what it does is it gives you it gives you work or orders and over a longer period, dropping down slowly through the machine. So we'll go into a little bit more detail now. That's the actual process. If everybody's happy with that, I'll move on. I suppose the first thing is creating awareness, but how do we go about that? How do we do that? Well, we need to promote ourselves. Okay, so we need to have a way of doing this. Now, promotion is what I call unpaid work. So by promotion, what I mean is we're getting out there, we're letting people know who we are and what we're doing. But not actually, it's not paid for if you're in that sense. So we can have video presentations. They're always a great idea. We can have introductions, so we can go online. We can put our mobile phone up and do a nice little introduction to people. We can make promotional videos, so about a business, about what we do and how we do it, and we can put those out onto social media. We can create nice photography for our websites, so that if people come across those on SEO, they can see us. Then the next thing to do then is to think about advertising. Now, this is where we start to pay for what we're doing, because we're going to need to get to people that we don't already know. And the only way you'll do that realistically is by advertising. So we could create sales videos, product videos, brand videos. We can do nice, if it's a product that we've got, we can do nice product photography of it. Yeah. We can create ad design and create and design adverts. Yeah. And for that, we're going to need some creative advertising photography. So all these are the visual elements that you would need for advertising. You can see it's quite a lot, because whenever you're advertising, it's always going to be very, very visual. People are, the statistics, which is, I find hard to believe sometimes, but it's there everywhere you look, is that the visual people are 60,000 times more, forget the exact 60,000 more times likely to see an advert than they are read text. So yeah, even if you halved that or quartered it, yeah, you still get quite a considerable figure. So using visuals in advertising is a great thing to do. So we'll move on. Another thing that you could do is publicity and PR. So by doing, here we're looking at doing vlogs. So you could run a little vlog, a weekly vlog. You could do events, and then you could do videos of those and put that out onto social media. There's new stuff like virtual events now, which isn't on here, but that's getting bigger and bigger as people realize that we can't go to actual events now. So those are becoming quite big. Social media, little videos for social media, putting stuff out onto social media. Editorial photography, so photographing yourself in the processes of doing stuff, and then putting those into editorials in magazines or newspapers. And photography of your events, again, same sort of thing as the event video. And then you can do social media posts. So you can put little posts out with little videos, photos, always accompanied with video, photography, that sort of thing that will get a reach out there. So that's publicity and PR. And then, and blogs as well. So lots of choice there. So that's how you get people, that's how you attract attention to yourself. And if you do that on a regular basis, people will start to come in through the top of the funnel and get to know who you are. But once they're in there, yeah, you can't forget them. You need to keep on and you need to engage with them. So how do we engage with the clients? We can inform and educate. Okay, so that's the first thing that we really need to do. How can we do this? Well, online webinars, a great way of doing it. Yeah, if you're an expert in your field of something, yeah, get on and do little webinars, teach people how to do it. So you're keeping in touch with your clients and you're keeping yourself in front of them all the time. And you're giving them away some information. So it's a great way of doing it. Process videos, if you're a manufacturer, then putting down the processes and what you're involved and how you do stuff and how you go about it is another great way, because people see how you do things from A to B. They're thinking, yeah, that's really useful for them to know that, and they start to think of you a lot more. How-to videos, a great way, you know, if you've got a product or a service, or specifically a product, how to use it, how to do it, what it does. These are great ways for people to get to know you, and it creates a bit of a want towards the product as well, so you remember it. Another one that we can do to keep it is to share and repost. So reposting videos. This is, again, something you can do that's not going to cost you an awful lot. But if you look at how-to videos or similar things in your industry and repost those out, people get them, people comment on them, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's a great way of doing it. Reposting interesting images that you might have seen on social media. That's a great way of doing it. Sharing interesting blogs. If you've got a particular blog that you've read and you like, you can share that. Storytelling. Telling little stories about what you do or how you do it, because everyone loves a good story, and it's the best way to get in front of people. But keep it really interesting. Tell little stories about what you've been up to. What have you been doing? What products, what your product, how your product came about, how you came about to get into business. Yeah, these are all great little things to do to keep people engaged in who you are and what you do. So you could create a short film, or you could write a blog with lots of photos. There are lots of different ideas you could do there. The other one is to inspire. And if you inspire people with different ideas you could do, one of them would be video success stories. Your successes are, they're not only just interesting to you, but they're interesting to others, because people, if people are looking potentially to buy from you or to work with you, yeah, then if you're putting through that, oh, we've been successful with this, we've been successful with that, yeah, that gets that builds a bit of trust in their mind that, you know, that you are going to do some good work for them as well. Video case studies, projects that you've been working on. If you do a case study on a particular project and you can put it out there in a nice little video that they can watch on the website or throughout social media, this will really help. You could also send it to them if you've got a specific, if you're working with them on a specific project, you could send them a copy of your video case study, and it would help them to understand your methods and your processes of how you work. Client video testimonials speak for themselves. These are great for building trust. So that moves us on to the next stage, really, because you can do all of this, but how are you going to get it out there? So by putting it in, what channels of engagement are there that you can use to be able to get all this information out there to your clients? So the biggest one is going to be social media. Social media, you can create videos. So you could create product videos, testimonials, promotional brand, all the things we've just talked about there, how-tos, and you can put these out, but you could just create these on social, put these out onto social media. You could do nice graphics to go with the post, so you can put them all together, so you build it all together so it looks really, really good. You could just do photography. So you could put out a nice post, a little text post, but you put a nice photo with that editorial, product shots, PR shots, that sort of thing. So social media would be a very big avenue at the moment where you could really let people know what you're up to. Email is another one. You can email them. You can put together email campaigns for them. Again, exactly the same stuff. Again, video. We're involved, what video we're involved in there, promotional testimonials. There's certain things that you can send out, but with email, you'd probably need to put them onto a platform first, so YouTube, Vimeo, somewhere like that, and then send that link to them so they can click on that link, and then they can go through and see the video. Again, with email, if you do nice graphics and put stuff together, if you use MailChimp or you don't, or another email outlet, then putting together nice graphics and making it look professional is a good way to do it. And again, photography, yeah, you could just send out photos with text on, so you can implicate in that. So you do a nice design, you do a nice photograph of whatever it is, a product photo or an editorial photo if you're doing something, and then just put nice stuff over the top and send that as part of your email. So you're dressing things up a little bit different, you're being a little bit different. Blogs and vlogs we've touched on slightly. Again, you can do that, put them out, putting out a vlog, a regular vlog or a regular blog is a good way of keeping in touch with people, getting them to follow you. And you can use exactly the same as everything we've talked about there, really is involved in that. One we haven't touched on yet, which is briefly, is paid advertising. Now, paid advertising is a great market if you want creating awareness, because it gets you to an audience that aren't aware of you. So it's the only way you can really sort of target them. And you can do this very effectively through sites like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They're all involved in it now. Then you can create these ads, and you put together the campaigns. It doesn't necessarily have to be too expensive. But what has to be put together is that you have to think about the campaign and how you're going to use it, and how it's going to work for you, and then put together a budget of what you think is going to be useful. And then you've got to create the content, and the content has to be relevant. Probably the most effective way is to just have some graphics. Probably the most cost-effective way is to have some graphics. Then you probably have some photography in there. That can help, and that can really work. And then if you really want it to get an impact, video is perfect. But probably with this sort of thing, shorter the better. So we do really short videos, have a really big impact. We've been creating stuff 30 seconds, 15 seconds, but now there's a directive towards even 7 seconds being the most effective. So really, video, photography, graphics, and paid advertising will really help you to fit a specific market. And the beauty of paid advertising as well is you can be very targeted. So you can really target a specific genre or a specific age group, or as you want. If you wanted to get solicitors in a certain area, you can type in that and you can target solicitors in Birmingham and get some really good feedback off that. You can monitor it and get results. So these days, paid advertising, if you're specifically producing a new campaign, is a great way of moving forward, and using visuals within paid advertising is really important. Moving on to printed media, and here we've got, you can introduce direct mail, magazine articles. Again, graphics and photography are two really important areas here for that. Is my screen going to move on? Hang on, graphics, photography, editor, here we go. Not many of us are going to be involved in this because of the costs involved, but it is a very effective media, which is TV. Yeah, so you can do TV advertising. This is going to be primarily, it is going to be video. Yeah, but you could create things like little TV shows. You could do brand videos, and you could put them out through the likes of YouTube, which would be a lot more cost effective. So if you've got a YouTube channel, you could put that out through them and then advertise that. But I think it's going to be out of most of our budget range, really, to do that. So with all of that is great, but we really need to have meaningful visual content to be able to do it. And that can be created by video. So again, touching on these, I'll just run through them. Promotional videos, brand videos are the difference between promotional video and a brand video. A promotional video really is something that just promotes your product or service, and it's very salesy. A brand video is about creating an ethos and a feeling about you, your company. So they differentiate, although a lot of people sort of put them into one, they are two different entities, really. Case studies, again, great way of doing it on video. Success story videos we've touched on are a great area. Testimonial videos, how-to videos, explainer videos, very similar to how-tos, really, just explaining a process videos. So there's lots of choices, and there's lots of things that you can do. Photography, we've got at the top of the list there, advertising photography. So really nice photos of your product are a great way. Product photography, that differs slightly to the advertising, as it's just really more on a white background. So it's more about the product itself and being able to have a look at it, whereas advertising photography is about trying to sell it. Editorial photography, which is about photographing if you wanted to have some shots for your website or inside your factory or the processes and that sort of thing. That's what we really would call editorial photography. PR photography, which is about you. It's about you as a person, or it's about capturing events and what's happening. Design. Design, you could focus on your graphic design, building graphics, illustrations. So different things that you can do there, all very good for posts, for going out onto social media, for your website. And one we haven't touched on yet, which is sort of motion effects and animation, which again comes part of a visual thing, but it really can be, quite a little bit more technical and a little bit more involved. But again, it's something that can really work to help with your business. So what we're doing is we're really converting interest into orders. Visual marketing process. Again, we're back to this again. So we've now seen how advertising and doing brand videos, photography, that sort of thing can help create the awareness and bring the clients in. Then once they're in, we put them into the engine and we start engaging with them with testimonials, case studies, success stories, all sorts of stuff that we can really keep them engaged until they're ready to buy, and then the orders come out at the bottom. So that is how you can use visual elements really to help market your business. I hope I didn't go too fast because I tend to talk a little bit too fast, so apologies if that's the case. But yeah, and that's our details. Thank you very much for listening.